Good morning, fifth graders. Happy Monday. I hope you had a wonderful long weekend. We're able to get outside and spend time doing what you love. Today is Monday, and I just put our pathway up here to remind you that we're moving into week 4. This will be our last week working under the theme of Partners in Survival. Okay, so we do finish this week with 3 science lessons looking at what do plants eat. So maybe you can start thinking and making some predictions about that. And then I also want to remind you that there is an Aspire to Do activity connected to Partners in Survival. So if you're someone that's looking for a challenge, please investigate. Look at this challenge that we have for you in the center activity. All right, but today, the lesson that we're doing right now is day 1, reading. Okay, so I'm going to flip back into our goal for today, and we're really working on making inferences. So if you remember that word from last year, we're reading information and we're using our past experiences to understand either how the author feels or how the characters feel. Okay, but inferring means we're being detectives. We're gathering information and we're using that information to make an inference or a prediction or a guess on what the author is thinking. All right, and the reading for today, they're connected to our Indigenous Peoples Day that we studied or that we celebrated last Monday. And that we're also connecting that to the Mississippi River. Or in this case, in this particular article, it's not the Mississippi, it is the Great American River. But this summer I had the great opportunity to really study the Mississippi River and how powerful the river is, considering it starts up in Minnesota, northern Minnesota. And I bet some of you have actually crossed the river if you went all the way up to Itasca State Park. All right, and then flows all the way the length of the United States, okay, and lets out into the ocean. Okay, so all of the watershed, okay, or the land that tilts towards the river, so the watershed is all of the water that runs into the river, okay, follows that river the whole length of the United States down and out into the ocean. Okay, so the articles today are connected to how do we take care of that watershed? How do we take care of the rivers? But then also, what's the connection to Native Americans in the river? Okay, so we are reading the leveled text called Conserving the American River. Okay, so this text right here, you're not going to find that in your mentor text, the book that you have at home. We are going to use Benchmark again. So I'm going to click over to Benchmark so I can show you what that looks like. All right, you're going to go into your menu and go to Assignments, and you'll find the American River assigned there. Okay, and remember, if you click it open, we're not reading the whole book today. We're going to pick out 2 different pieces of reading that we're going to focus on. So you will have to find the correct pages. Oh, it sounds like I might be logged out here. Let's try this again. Sometimes if you have Benchmark open for too long, it doesn't let you open that. God dang it. Well, let's go through this together because maybe this whole process will be a nice reminder for you. So I'm going to go to Clever, and then I'm going to log in with Google. All right, and you'll see a few apps in your Clever. I know we've used Benchmark and we've used BrainPop. We've also used Newsela that we have in here with Signor Velistri. Okay, but up here is our benchmark. We'll go ahead and open this up. I know many of you have lots of experience with Benchmark from 4th grade, which has been really nice that we have so many experts here. All right, now my main page might look a little bit different than yours, but you do have a button that says Assignments. And we're going to scroll through. We're looking for the American River, and sadly, I haven't assigned it yet. So I'm going to have to find it a slightly different way here because it's also in our libraries under leveled text. And I apologize, but I will assign it. So you can find it under assignments as well. But you can also find it in your library under leveled text. Okay, we've pulled those out so you can find those. All right, so this is what the book looks like. Right, and if you remember, when you pull this bottom up, you can, like our first article we're going to read today is on page 2. So we flip right to page 2, and you have some options here. Okay, you might be someone that likes to read this. Okay, you might be someone that wants to listen to the article. Okay, whichever works better for you, I encourage you to do. All right. So our first article, like I just showed you, is on pages 2 to 3. Okay, and that's called A Conservationist is Born. I'm wondering if you've heard that word before, a conservationist. The ist at the end shows us it's a person. And the base word is conserve. Okay, so a conservationist is someone who is taking care of the river, trying to protect the river. Okay, and that's on pages 2 to 3. And then you're also going to read the American River and its history, pages 4 through 7. Okay, as you read, look for clues to figure out the words you don't know. And we're always practicing that. Always practicing staying connected to the text. I'd love to hear if you come up with any questions or any new research that you do after you read these articles. That's the fun of reading, is staying engaged and thinking about your reading. Okay, and then in your Schoology folder, you'll see this assignment. Okay, we're going to think, talk, and write. Okay, on page 3, what caused the author to have a good understanding of the need to protect watersheds? Okay, watershed, remember, is all the land around the river. Okay, everything that flows into the river is part of the watershed. So what caused the author to have a good understanding of the need to protect the watersheds? Okay, and then on page 5, what can you infer about the Nisenan and the Miwok people treated? Oh, I'm sorry, I must have missed a word there. What can you infer about how the Nisenan and the Miwok people treated the river? Which details on page 5 help support your inference? Okay, so that's making an inference. You're using the words, but you're also thinking about your past experiences, and you're making a prediction based on fact. So if we were in science, that would be called a hypothesis. All right, and then finally on page 7, what can you infer about how the gold rush affected Native Americans based on the section, The Gold Rush? Okay, so remember, all of these you'll be answering with complete sentences. Okay, try to use part of the question to start your answer. And then you want to give details to back up your answer. Okay, so Most of these sentences are going to take more, or excuse me, most of these questions will take more than one sentence to answer. Okay, stay engaged, think about your inferences, and put your best work into these 3 questions. Good luck today, 5th graders.